Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Early one morning in May 2025, India made a surprise military attack. This attack was on targets in Pakistan and in parts of Kashmir that Pakistan controls. Many people were surprised. India used weapons like missiles and drones. India called this military action Operation Sindoor. The main reason for India's attack was a terrible event. A few weeks before, on April 22nd, tourists were attacked in Indian-controlled Kashmir. 25 tourists from India and one from Nepal were killed. This was a very sad event. India quickly said groups helped by Pakistan were responsible. Pakistan said this was not true and they were not involved. India and Pakistan are neighbor countries with a long, difficult history. They became separate countries in 1947. Since then, they have argued and fought several wars. The biggest argument is about Kashmir, a beautiful mountain area. Both India and Pakistan believe Kashmir belongs to them. This disagreement has caused many problems for many years. This fight between India and Pakistan is important for the whole world, not just for them. Both countries have strong armies. More importantly, both have nuclear weapons. These are the most dangerous weapons. If a big war starts, it could be very bad for many other countries. So, leaders from the United Nations, the USA, and China often ask India and Pakistan to be calm and talk to solve their problems. In this story, we will learn more about this long fight. We will look at why India and Pakistan disagree so much, especially about Kashmir. We will talk about the major wars and fights they had in the past. The story will also think about peace. Is it possible for them to stop fighting? We will explore what makes peace difficult and what could help them solve their disagreements. 2. A terrible attack. On April 22nd, a very bad event took place in Kashmir. It happened in a beautiful area called Baysaran, near a town named Pahalgam. This part of Kashmir is managed by India. A group of tourists were there, likely enjoying their visit in several vehicles. Suddenly, armed men, who some called militants, attacked them. These attackers started shooting at the tourists. It was a terrible shock. Many people were hurt. In the end, 26 people lost their lives. 25 of these people were Indian citizens. One person who died was from Nepal. This attack was very serious. For many, many years, Kashmir had not seen such a deadly attack on ordinary people just visiting the area. It made everyone very sad and worried. The government in India reacted very quickly. They said that groups from Pakistan were responsible for this horrible attack. Indian officials stated that these groups planned the whole thing. They also said that they believed 2 of the men who did the shooting were from Pakistan, but they did not show clear proof to everyone at that time. India accused Pakistan of giving these groups safe places to hide and help to plan such acts. However, Pakistan's government said these accusations were not true. They stated very clearly that Pakistan was not involved in the attack in any way. Pakistan asked for a fair and independent check to find out the real story behind the attack. They said the things India was saying were made up. Important leaders in Pakistan, like Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, asked India to show strong evidence if they had any. In India, The news of the attack caused a lot of anger and fear among the people. Many Indians were very upset and wanted strong action. Some groups of angry people in Indian cities even troubled people from Kashmir who were living there. Important leaders in India made strong statements. They warned that Pakistan would have to face consequences for what happened. A shopkeeper named Sunil Singh told a newspaper that he thought the terrorists and those who helped them should be punished severely. He even said there should be a big fight in Pakistan. Many other Indians felt this strong anger and wanted revenge. Because of this attack, the relationship between India and Pakistan became very bad very quickly. It felt like all friendly connections were cut. Both countries called back their main diplomats, the ambassadors, from each other's capital cities. They also stopped all flights that went between India and Pakistan. India stopped trading goods with Pakistan. It also paused some important agreements they had, like an old agreement about sharing river water. Pakistan also took strong actions. They closed their airspace, which means planes could not fly over their country easily. They also made movements with their army near the border. Soon, small fights with guns started again along the line of control. This is the unofficial border that divides Kashmir between the two countries. India said that Pakistani soldiers started shooting without reason, and Indian soldiers had to shoot back. Both India and Pakistan began to send more soldiers and army equipment to the Kashmir region. The air was full of tension. Everyone was afraid that a much bigger fight, maybe even a war, could start very soon. There were even signs and worries that air attacks might happen. 3. India strikes back. India made a secret military plan. This plan was called Operation Sindoor. It started on May 7, 2025. It was very early in the morning, about 1:40 a.m. in India when it was still dark. Indian soldiers attacked several places. These places were across the line of control. This line is a border in the Kashmir area. Some attacks were in Pakistan. Other attacks were in the part of Kashmir that Pakistan manages. India's government said its forces hit 9 targets. 7 targets were in Pakistan-controlled Kashmir. 2 targets were in an area of Pakistan called Punjab Province. Pakistan's government said India hit 3 main places: Bahawalpur, Kotli, and Muzaffarabad. Muzaffarabad is the capital city of Pakistan-controlled Kashmir. India said its military planes did not fly into Pakistan. Instead, they fired missiles and bombs from India's own land. India called this a careful and focused action. India explained its reasons for Operation Sindoor. It said this was a measured answer to the attack on tourists. The Indian Ministry of Defense said the targets were important places. Militant groups used these places to plan attacks across the border into India. They said these places were linked to groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba. Indian officials said they did not aim at Pakistani army bases. They also said they did not attack civilian areas, like houses or schools where normal people are. Later, Indian officials said again that the strikes destroyed buildings used for terrorism. They said India wants to make sure people who plan terrorism are punished. Pakistan's government was very angry about the Indian strikes. It quickly said the attack was a blatant act of war. Pakistan also promised to retaliate, meaning it would strike back. Pakistan's military made a statement. It warned India's happiness from the attack would not last. They said Pakistan would choose the time and place for its own response. Pakistan's defense minister, Khawaja Asif, spoke on television. He condemned the Indian strikes. He called them a heinous provocation. This means a terrible and unfair act. He said India had attacked Pakistan's land and its safety. He invited journalists to visit the places that were hit. He said these were civilian areas, not militant camps. The first news reports told about damage and people hurt. At least 8 people died in Pakistan. One of them was a child. About 35 other people were wounded. There were big explosions and fires in the areas India attacked. In Muzaffarabad, many buildings lost electricity. Pakistani news said a child died in Bahawalpur. Others there were hurt by pieces from explosions. India claimed its operation killed many terrorists, but others did not check this number. After Operation Sindoor, Pakistani soldiers fired artillery shells into the Indian part of Kashmir. News from India said 3 civilians died from this shelling. The Indian military said no Indian soldiers died or were hurt in Operation Sindoor. India used several types of weapons for Operation Sindoor. These included surface-to-surface missiles. These are launched from the ground to hit targets on the ground. India might have used cruise missiles like the BrahMos. Cruise missiles are smart weapons. They fly long distances and hit targets well. India also reportedly used kamikaze drones. These are small, unmanned planes with explosives. They fly to a target and crash into it. Indian officials said they used standoff weapons. This means the weapons were fired from far away, so Indian forces could attack without crossing into Pakistan. The Indian Army, Navy, and Air Force all helped with these precision strike weapon systems. 4. The world reacts. When India attacked Pakistan, the news went around the world very quickly. Many countries and important people were worried. They did not want a big war between India and Pakistan. The United Nations, UN, was one of the first to speak. The head of the UN, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, said he was very concerned. He asked both India and Pakistan to be very careful and to stop any actions that could make things worse. He said they should use maximum restraint. The United States of America, USA, also spoke. American officials talked to leaders in both India and Pakistan. They wanted a responsible solution to the problem. India's National Security Advisor also spoke with the U.S. Secretary of State. The Secretary of State said he welcomed India's careful actions. He also asked for the situation to become calm. The U.S. President at the time, Donald Trump, said the situation was a shame and hoped it would end soon. China, a big country and a neighbor, also reacted. China is a close friend of Pakistan. Beijing, the capital of China, asked both countries to be calm. Chinese leaders said they hoped India and Pakistan would exercise restraint. They also said they wanted to see steps that would make the situation less dangerous. Other countries also shared their thoughts. Saudi Arabia asked India and Pakistan to talk and solve their problems with words, not fighting. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, a group of Muslim countries, said they were very worried. They also criticized India for blaming Pakistan earlier. Some of India's friends in the West, like Britain and France, did not say India was wrong for the strikes, but they asked for talks to find peace. Pakistan tried to get help from other countries. Pakistan's person at the UN asked for a special meeting of the UN Security Council. They wanted to talk about the problems between India and Pakistan. Pakistan also tried to get other South Asian countries in a group called SAARC to meet about Kashmir, but this did not get much support. India also explained its actions to other countries. For example, Indian officials in Washington, D.C. talked to American leaders about why India attacked. India said its attacks were only on places used by terrorists. They said they wanted to stop terrorism. It was difficult for people to know exactly what was happening. News on television and online spread very fast. Sometimes this news was not true. This is called misinformation. On social media sites like X, which used to be Twitter, some people shared old videos or false stories. For example, some accounts showed videos of planes bombing places, but these videos were not from this new fight. They were old. Because of this, it was hard to know the real facts. India's government told its people to only listen to official news. Big news companies from around the world, like Reuters and AP, were careful. They only reported facts they could check. But many stories and videos online were not checked, and this made people confused or angry. Both India and Pakistan used media to share their side of the story. Pakistan's army, for example, posted warnings on social media. 5. The big disagreement. The problems between India and Pakistan are not just from today. They started a long time ago. This disagreement has lasted for nearly 80 years, since 1947. In that year, British India was divided. Two new countries were made, India and Pakistan. This big change was called the Partition. Kashmir was a special area with its own ruler at that time. After the partition, both India and Pakistan wanted Kashmir to be part of their country. This was the start of the big disagreement over Kashmir. A war was fought between them from 1947 to 1948 because of Kashmir. The United Nations helped to stop this first war. After the fighting, Kashmir was divided. India got control of most of Kashmir, including the Kashmir Valley. Pakistan got control of some other parts, but both countries still say that all of Kashmir belongs to them. The line that divides Kashmir between India and Pakistan is called the Line of Control, or LOCI. It is not a permanent, official border that both countries agree on. Because of this, the LOCI is a very tense place. There are many soldiers from both countries there, and fighting can happen easily. Over the years, India and Pakistan have fought several big wars. There was a war in 1965. Another big war happened in 1971. This war was not only about Kashmir. It also led to East Pakistan becoming a new country called Bangladesh. After the 1971 war, India and Pakistan signed an agreement in a place called Simla. In the Simla Agreement, they agreed to call the ceasefire line in Kashmir the line of control. They also promised to try to solve their problems by talking, not by fighting. But the peace did not last forever. In 1989, a lot of fighting and unrest, called an insurgency, started in the part of Kashmir controlled by India. India says that Pakistan helps groups of militants who fight against India in Kashmir. These groups often cross the low sea. In 1999, there was another serious conflict in Kargil. Pakistani soldiers crossed the low sea and took positions on high mountains on the Indian side. Indian soldiers fought a hard and bloody battle to push them back. Many soldiers died on both sides. More recently, there have been other serious events. For about 10 years, from 2003 to 2014, the low sea was mostly calm. But there were still small fights sometimes. In 2016, attackers killed 19 Indian soldiers at an army camp in Uri, in Indian-controlled Kashmir. India said it then carried out surgical strikes against militant camps on the Pakistani side of the low sea. A very dangerous time happened in 2019. First, a suicide bomber killed 40 Indian paramilitary soldiers in Pulwama in Kashmir. India blamed a militant group based in Pakistan. In reply, Indian planes flew into Pakistan and bombed a place called Balakot. Pakistan then sent its own planes, and they shot down an Indian fighter jet. The pilot was captured but later returned. Many people worried that a bigger war could start. In that same year, India also changed the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. This made Pakistan very angry and increased tensions again. These past events show a pattern. Often, after a big attack in Kashmir, India responds with military action across the low sea. 6. Armies and news. India and Pakistan both have big armies. They have many soldiers who are trained to fight. These armies also have a lot of equipment. This includes many tanks that can move on land and fight. They also have different kinds of military planes. Some planes are for fighting other planes in the sky. Other planes are for dropping bombs. India's Air Force has modern jets like the Rafale and Sukhoi Su-30 Mki. Pakistan also has fighter jets like the F-16 and JF-17. Both countries also have navies with ships to protect their coasts and seas. Both countries have strong and modern weapons. India showed it can use special missiles from far away. These missiles can hit targets without planes needing to fly over the enemy country. India used cruise missiles like the BrahMos, which can fly a long way. They also used kamikaze drones. These are small planes filled with explosives that fly to a target and explode. Pakistan also has powerful missiles. Their Shaheen missiles can travel far and reach cities in India. Pakistan also has systems to shoot down enemy planes and missiles. These weapons make any fight very serious. The biggest worry for the world is that both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. These are not like normal bombs. Nuclear weapons are extremely powerful and can destroy whole cities. They can kill many thousands of people and make the land dangerous for a very long time. If a big war starts between India and Pakistan, there is a fear that they might use these nuclear weapons. This is a very dangerous situation. Leaders around the world always ask both countries to be very careful because of these weapons. Even a small mistake could lead to a nuclear war. News and information are also used like weapons in this conflict. Both India and Pakistan try to control what people hear and see. They want to show their own country as strong and right. They might say the other country is wrong or is causing all the problems. Sometimes they share news that is not completely true. This is called propaganda. For example, after an attack, one country might say it hit only military targets. The other country might say that homes and ordinary people were hit. On social media like X, false news can spread very fast. People share videos or stories that are not real. India's government told its people to only trust official news. Pakistan's military also used social media to send strong messages. It is often very hard for normal people to know what is true information and what is not. There is always a big risk that small fights between India and Pakistan can grow into large wars. This is a very serious danger. When one country does something, the other country often wants to do something back. This is like a cycle of attacks. Each time, the attacks might get bigger or more serious. Sometimes, a country might make a mistake. For example, they might hit the wrong target or misunderstand what the other side is doing. Such mistakes can make the situation much worse very quickly. Because both countries have strong armies and nuclear weapons, a big war would be terrible for everyone in the region and maybe the world. Leaders need to be very careful to stop small problems from becoming huge wars. 7. People and pain. The fighting between India and Pakistan brings much sadness to ordinary people. After India's attack, Operation Sindoor, reports said at least 8 people died in Pakistan. One of these was a child. Many more were hurt. Later, shelling from Pakistan killed 3 people in Indian Kashmir. In Muzaffarabad, a town in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, bombs damaged homes and religious places. Electricity also stopped working in many areas, making life very hard. Doctors in Bahawalpur, Pakistan, said a young boy was killed and 2 other children were hurt. People near the border and in Kashmir are often very worried. They live with danger almost every day. Some local leaders, like Kashmir's Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, had warned that more tourists did not always mean full safety for everyone. A shopkeeper in Indian Kashmir, Haji Sanola, heard loud explosions from shelling. This scared him. A Pakistani villager said people on the border always know something bad can happen. This shows their difficult life. They cannot always feel safe or live normally. After the tourist attack, angry mobs in some Indian cities harassed Kashmiris. This made Kashmiris feel unsafe. When these attacks happen, many people in India and Pakistan feel very strongly. In India, many were angry after the tourist attack. They wanted their government to act. One Indian man said Pakistan must be taught a lesson. When India launched Operation Sindoor, many Indians supported it. They felt it was a strong, fair response to the tourist killings. In Pakistan, many were angry about India's strikes. They called it an act of war. News and social media in Pakistan showed this anger. However, some Pakistanis also worried about more fighting. They were tired of the long conflict and worried about the cost of a big war. Their country already had money problems. So, while some wanted a strong military answer, others hoped for peace. This long disagreement costs both countries a lot of money and creates social problems. It is not just about soldiers and guns. For example, India stopped trade with Pakistan. This hurts businesses. When planes cannot fly normal routes because airspace is closed, it also costs money. When bombs damage homes and buildings, people lose their property. Hospitals need to be ready for injured people, using important resources. These problems make life harder for everyone. Money spent on fighting could instead build schools, improve hospitals, or create jobs. There is always a serious fear that small fights could become a big war. India and Pakistan are large countries with powerful armies. Importantly, both have nuclear weapons, the most dangerous in the world. Experts worry if one country attacks, the other will attack back. Then fighting could get worse. This is called escalation. After Operation Sindoor, world leaders asked India and Pakistan to be calm. They did not want the situation to become more dangerous. Ordinary people in this region hope their leaders will listen and choose peace. They live every day with the worry that fighting could escalate and bring more pain. 8. What happens now? After India's Operation Sindoor, the situation is very serious. India attacked targets in Pakistan. This was after many tourists were killed in Kashmir. India said Pakistan was responsible. Pakistan was very angry about India's attack and promised to respond. Now, everyone is waiting to see what will happen. Leaders from around the world, including the United Nations, America, and China, have asked both countries to stop fighting and talk. This is one of the most difficult times between India and Pakistan for many years. Making lasting peace is not easy. India and Pakistan have disagreed for a very long time, more than 70 years. The main problem is Kashmir. Both countries believe Kashmir belongs to them. They have fought wars over this land before. Also, many people in both India and Pakistan feel very strongly about this. They want their country to be strong. This makes it hard for leaders to agree on peace. Old problems and strong feelings make it a big challenge. Future fights are a big danger. Both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. These are the most dangerous weapons in the world. If a new fight starts, even a small one, it could become a very big war. A mistake by either side could cause a disaster. The nuclear threat means any large conflict would be terrible for South Asia and could affect other parts of the world too. So, what could help? Dialogue is very important. This means India and Pakistan need to talk to each other. Other countries and groups like the United Nations are trying to help them start talking. They need to discuss the problems and try to understand each other. This is a first step towards finding solutions. The leaders of India and Pakistan have a very important role. They need to be brave and choose peace instead of more fighting. It is not easy, but it is very important for all the people. The conflict has a big impact on the region. People living near the borders and in Kashmir are always worried. The fighting also costs a lot of money and stops the countries from growing well. Finding peace would help everyone. What do you think leaders should focus on first to build trust between the two countries?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.